The strategy team had 3 weeks to answer a question so big it could swing the company's future. $1 billion big. Should they enter a new market or not? Normally, you know how this goes. Everyone runs. Analysts hoard reports. Consultants build towers of spreadsheets. Executives show up with strong opinions, and the final recommendation, well, it's a blend of evidence, intuition, and whoever makes the most convincing speech in the room. But this time, they tried something different. They gave an AI system a single job: read the market. All of it. Not just a few glossy industry decks. I'm talking every competitor earnings call for 5 years, piles of research reports, patent filings, regulatory updates, customer reviews, hiring trends, supply chain shifts. The kind of messy, sprawling, contradictory evidence no human team can fully digest in a couple of weeks. And in a few days, the system came back with something the team didn't expect. It didn't hand them a neat yes or no answer. Instead, it produced something better, a map. A map of competitors and momentum, demand signals and choke points, regulatory headwinds and clear skies, where the white space might actually be real, and where the risks were hiding in plain sight. It surfaced patterns humans would have missed. A competitor quietly pulling back. An adjacent category starting to overlap. A policy shift that changed the economics of the whole opportunity. But here's the part that matters. The AI didn't decide. It lit up the terrain. The people still had to decide what it meant. Because the real question wasn't, what does the data say? The real question was, is this who we want to become? Is the payoff worth the risk? Does this fit our identity, our values, the future we're trying to build? The strategy chief put it in a line I can't stop thinking about. AI gave us the clearest view of the board we've ever had, but it couldn't tell us what game we wanted to play. That part is still on us. And that's the paradox of AI in strategy. This is where AI looks most impressive, and also where its limits are the most important. AI can sharpen the picture like never before. But strategy, at its core, is judgment, choice, and values, under uncertainty that never fully goes away. Today, in the 3rd episode of our domain series, we're going to get specific about how AI is changing strategic leadership, from competitive intelligence and scenario planning, to decision support, to the guardrails that keep the human strategist essential. I'm Nakel Nakima, and this is The Intelligence Edge. With me today, a 4-guest panel who lives right at this intersection of AI and strategic decision-making. Dr. Lian Zhou is an AI transformation expert focused on Asia-Pacific, where the competitive pace is unforgiving and strategic foresight gets tested constantly. Dr. Zhou, welcome back.
Thanks, Nakel. Strategy is the perfect place to see both the magic of AI and the points where it simply can't replace human responsibility.
Maria Alvarez leads in data governance, which is almost the unsung hero of strategic AI, because strategy pulls from the broadest, messiest information imaginable. Maria, glad you're here.
Happy to be here. Strategic work uses data that's harder to control, verify, and interpret than almost anything else.
Jonas Richter specializes in data ethics and compliance, and strategy is full of boundary questions. What's legitimate intelligence, what becomes intrusion, and what you can't morally delegate to a system. Jonas, welcome.
Thanks, Nakel. Strategy pushes right up against questions of legitimacy and accountability, and AI makes those questions more urgent.
And Kwame Mensah is an intelligence systems architect. He's built the kind of synthesis engines that can take 1,000 sources and turn them into something leadership can actually use. Kwame, great to have you.
Great to be here. If you want to see AI's ability to synthesize at scale, strategy is absolutely the domain.
Let's start wide and then narrow. When you look at strategy as a function, how is AI changing it? Dr. Zhou, give us the map.
I think about the transformation in 3 big ways, with one crucial caveat at the end. First is comprehension. Strategy starts with understanding the environment, competitors, customers, markets, forces, constraints. Historically, comprehension was always partial. It depended on what you could gather, what you had time to read, and what made it into the deck. AI expands that dramatically. It can absorb far more information than a human team, and do it fast enough to matter. Second is exploration. Strategy isn't just understanding what is, it's imagining what could be. Alternate futures, scenarios, options. AI can generate a broader set of scenarios and possibilities than a room full of humans typically does, and it can help you explore a wider space of options. Third is analysis. Once you have options, you need to pressure test them. What happens if assumptions break? Which risks are correlated? Where are the trade-offs? AI can make that analysis more systematic and more rigorous. Now the caveat, those three things are inputs to strategy. They are not strategy itself. Strategy is ultimately choice under uncertainty, guided by judgment and values. AI can help you see, explore, and analyze. But choosing what to do, and what kind of organization you want to be, stays human.
So the transformation is real, but it's not a handoff.
Exactly. In some domains AI can do more of the core work. In strategy, it illuminates. It doesn't own the choice.
Kwame, from an engineering perspective, what's different about strategic AI compared to, say, finance or operations?
Strategy has a few properties that make AI incredibly useful, and also put hard limits on it. 1. Strategy is synthesis heavy. You're not just crunching a clean dataset. You're connecting dots across markets, capabilities, competitors, new entrants, regulation, internal constraints. Generative AI is unusually good at this kind of cross-source synthesis. 2. It's dominated by unstructured information, documents, transcripts, articles, reports, commentary. Traditional analytics couldn't really read all that at scale. Now it can. 3. Strategy lives in deep uncertainty. Not just uncertainty because we lack measurements, but uncertainty because the future genuinely isn't determined. AI can model and quantify parts of uncertainty, but it cannot reliably predict what's fundamentally unpredictable. And 4. Strategy requires judgment. You're weighing factors that don't share a unit of measure. Brand and risk. Purpose and profit. Timing and identity. That judgment resists automation. So the best systems are designed to maximize synthesis and exploration, then create a deliberate checkpoint where humans validate, interpret, and decide.
Maria, when we say, strategic data is messy, what are we really talking about? Why is governing it so hard?
Because strategy pulls from everything, and a lot of it is outside your control. It's external heavy. In finance you mostly govern internal systems, your ERP, your ledgers, controlled definitions. Strategy depends on markets, competitors, social signals, policy, macro indicators. You don't own that data's quality. And it's unstructured. You're dealing with narratives, opinions, documents, interviews, and yes, sometimes rumors. It's also diverse. Strategic inputs span financial, operational, regulatory, cultural, geopolitical. Trying to apply one clean governance model to that diversity doesn't work. Then there's reliability variance. Some sources are authoritative, others are speculation, others are intentional misdirection. In strategy, you have to govern not just, is it accurate, but how trustworthy is this, and how much weight should we give it? Finally, it's interpretation heavy. Two people can look at the same facts and reach different strategic conclusions. Governance has to deal with interpretation quality, not just data quality.
Jonas, bring in the ethical frame. Where are the boundaries when AI gets embedded in strategic intelligence?
The first boundary is legitimacy in intelligence gathering. There's a world of difference between analyzing public information and crossing into deception, misappropriation, or anything resembling espionage. AI can scale gathering so fast that the temptation is to say, if it's possible, why not? But ethics and law don't work like that. Second is privacy. Strategy sometimes focuses on people, competitor executives, key engineers, customers, decision makers. AI makes profiling easy, and that's exactly why we need constraints. Third is rights and terms. A lot of external data has rules attached. Licensing, terms of service, usage limits. AI's appetite doesn't override other parties' rights. Fourth is manipulation. Strategic advantage should not become engineered deception or market manipulation. AI can enable very sophisticated moves that might be effective but not legitimate. And finally, there's the human core. Strategic choices affect livelihoods and communities. They carry moral weight. That accountability has to sit with humans, not be outsourced to a model.
So let's get practical. Segment 2, where specifically does AI add value across the day-to-day reality of strategy? Dr. Zhou, walk us through the landscape.
Sure. I'd break it into a set of key applications. Competitive intelligence is the obvious one. AI can watch competitors' signals continuously and summarize them in a way humans can actually act on. Market analysis is another. It can synthesize segments, growth drivers, changing customer needs, and conflicting market narratives faster than a team can. Scenario planning is huge. AI can generate more plausible futures and help you explore implications. Strategic options analysis. You lay out choices, and AI helps model the implications, risks, constraints, and trade-offs. Trend and weak signal detection. It can catch early indicators buried in noise that humans don't see until later. Strategic monitoring. Instead of strategy being a quarterly or annual event, AI can keep you continuously aware. And then decision support, where AI helps frame choices and compile relevant intelligence. But again, the decision itself shouldn't be handed over.
Kwame, if you had to rank maturity, what's working well now, what's emerging, and what should be intentionally off limits?
What's very strong right now is synthesis for competitive and market intelligence, especially because generative AI can finally handle all the unstructured material. That's the big leap. What's maturing is trend and signal detection. It can be powerful, but you need careful design so you don't mistake noise for signal. Scenario generation is also maturing. The model can produce a wide spread of futures, but quality varies, and humans still have to judge plausibility. Strategic options analysis is developing. It can help, but it absolutely requires validation because you're modeling a world filled with unknowns. And the one I'd mark as deliberately limited is strategic decision-making. Not because AI can't output a recommendation, but because strategic choice represents values and accountability. That boundary should exist on purpose.
Maria, if strategic data is unstable, how do you govern reliability in practice? What does that governance actually look like, day to day?
You build reliability into the system and into the process. First, source governance. You categorize and weight sources. A regulator's publication is not the same as an anonymous blog post. The AI should know that through your governance rules. Second, verification. If an output would influence a major strategic choice, you require confirmation. If the system says, competitor X is exiting, you treat that as a hypothesis until validated. Third, misinformation defenses. Competitive environments include intentional false signals. You need checks to avoid amplifying planted disinformation. Fourth, provenance tracking. When the system makes a claim, leaders should be able to trace it back. What sources support this? That traceability is essential. And fifth, interpretation governance. The AI shouldn't present one story as definitive when multiple interpretations are plausible. Governance has to encourage a disciplined, transparent interpretation process.
Jonas, where do you see the danger zones? Not the theoretical ones, the real places where teams can slide into trouble.
One danger zone is overaggressive collection. AI makes it easy to scrape and assemble, and teams can drift into violating terms or crossing ethical lines without a dramatic moment where someone says, "We're doing something wrong." It just creeps. Another is individual profiling. The technology can map people: who's likely to leave, who influences decisions, who's a target. It feels strategically useful and quickly becomes invasive. A third is manipulation. AI can help craft signals and narratives to steer competitors or markets. Even if it's effective, it can cross into deception. A fourth is letting the model's confidence become a substitute for human judgment. That's a subtle failure. People stop deciding and start approving. And the fifth is misinformation amplification. If the AI absorbs false signals and repeats them with confidence, that can mislead leadership at exactly the worst time.
All right. Segment 3, the competitive intelligence revolution. This one feels like the biggest immediate shift for a lot of companies. Dr. Zhou, what's fundamentally changed?
Competitive intelligence used to be episodic. You'd collect information for a planning cycle or a big decision, you'd produce a snapshot, and by the time everyone read it, the world had already moved. AI shifts the model towards something continuous and far more complete. The system can track earnings calls, press releases, pricing movements, hiring, patents, product changes, regulatory events, constantly. So instead of trying to assemble a picture every few months, leaders operate with a more current view of the landscape. That means earlier awareness. You catch the quiet retreat, the new adjacent bet, the subtle shift in positioning, before it hits your revenue. But the warning matters: comprehensive intelligence is not the same thing as strategy. Knowing more about competitors doesn't answer what you should choose.
Kwame, take us inside the system. What are the building blocks of AI-driven competitive intelligence?
At a high level, you need 5 capabilities. First is broad monitoring. You're collecting signals from many channels: filings, transcripts, news, social, job posts, patents, product updates, pricing, and more. Second is cross-source synthesis. The real power isn't just reading one thing, it's connecting signals. Hiring plus a patent plus a leadership comment can imply a move that none of those signals alone makes obvious. Third is change detection. It highlights what shifted, what's new, what's accelerating, what's fading. Fourth is pattern recognition. Over time it can learn competitor playbooks, the repeated behaviors, so you can anticipate likely next moves. And fifth is insight generation, which is where you must be careful. The system can propose an interpretation, but you design it so humans validate high-stakes interpretations and own the response.
Maria, governance for competitive intelligence has to be a little different than governance for internal analytics, right?
Completely different emphasis. You're governing legitimacy, reliability, and interpretation more than you're governing precision. Legitimacy governance. What sources are allowed? What collection methods are acceptable? What do we do about terms of service? How do we avoid crossing into unethical practices? Reliability governance. Categorizing sources, requiring verification, and explicitly defending against disinformation. Interpretation governance. Making assumptions visible, capturing alternate explanations, resisting overconfident conclusions. Privacy governance matters too, especially where competitive intel drifts toward people. And finally, action governance. What do we automate, if anything, and what must remain an executive decision? In strategy, the answer is usually, automate very little action. Keep the response human-led.
Jonas, what's the risk profile here? Because on paper, more intelligence sounds like a free win.
There are at least 5 risks I'd watch. 1. Crossing legitimacy lines, often unintentionally, because the collection is automated. 2. Poisoning via misinformation. Competitors know we watch. They can plant signals to mislead. If the AI trusts those signals too much, you end up with very polished wrongness. 3. Analysis paralysis. If the system floods you with signals, you can lose the ability to distinguish what matters. For mirroring, If everyone uses similar models and data, strategies can converge. You get sameness instead of differentiation. And 5, reactive overrotation. Continuous monitoring can tempt leaders into chasing competitor moves instead of pursuing their own direction.
That last one hits. Because having a clearer board doesn't mean you should play their game.
Exactly. Intelligence is power only when it serves a chosen strategy, not when it replaces it.
Segment 4, Scenario Planning and Strategic Foresight. This is where a lot of teams are experimenting right now. Kwame, how does AI change the way we do scenarios?
The simplest way to say it is, it widens the set of futures you consider, and it can make the exercise more rigorous. Traditional scenario planning often produced a small handful of stories, shaped by what humans could imagine and what they were comfortable imagining. AI can generate a larger range of scenarios, including combinations that humans wouldn't naturally propose. It can also analyze drivers, what forces are shaping the futures, what uncertainties matter most, how these drivers interact. Then it can model implications. What does each scenario mean for your supply chain, customers, costs, competitive dynamics? And one of the best uses is stress testing strategies. You take a strategy and evaluate how it performs across futures. That helps identify robust strategies versus fragile ones. Finally, it can propose early indicators, signals to monitor that tell you which scenario seems to be unfolding.
Dr. Zhou, what's the real strategic payoff when foresight gets AI augmented?
Preparedness, first. If you've seriously considered a broader set of futures, you're less likely to be blindsided. Second is robustness. When you test strategies against many scenarios, you can choose approaches that hold up better under volatility. Third is earlier adaptation. If you've defined indicators, you can spot which way the world is moving and adjust sooner. And fourth is reduced blind spots. Humans have predictable biases, recency bias, optimism, anchoring. AI can broaden the exploration and surface uncomfortable possibilities. But we should be careful, even with AI, you don't get to escape uncertainty. You don't get an oracle. And truly unprecedented events can still fall outside what any model generates.
Maria, governance for scenario planning sounds odd to some people, but I know you'd argue it's essential. What do you govern there?
You govern for quality, diversity, and responsible use. Quality governance. Are the scenarios plausible and relevant, or are they just a long list of interesting stories? Assumption governance. Scenarios hide assumptions. Governance makes those assumptions visible so leaders can challenge them. Diversity governance. Are we getting genuinely different futures, or variations of the same baseline? You want the uncomfortable scenarios too. Bias governance. You look for systematic skew, like consistently optimistic scenarios or overly linear projections. And usage governance. A scenario is a tool for preparation, not a prediction. Governance keeps leaders from treating AI outputs like destiny.
Jonas, does AI-driven foresight create a different kind of risk than competitive intelligence?
Yes, because it can create false confidence. If a model generates a set of scenarios with neat logic, leadership can start to feel like the future is covered. But deep uncertainty means the actual future could still land outside that set. There's also anchoring. Teams might treat the AI scenarios as the full space of possibilities, when really they're just a sample. That can narrow thinking instead of expanding it. Another risk is neglect of true black swans, the events with no precedent. Models are pattern-based. The unprecedented is, by definition, hard to generate. And then there's the classic trap. Analysis replacing action. You can generate scenarios forever. Strategy still demands commitment at some point. Finally, there's skill atrophy. If AI always does the imagining, leaders can lose the habit of human foresight. That's dangerous because the human capacity for meaning-making and judgment is part of what makes foresight valuable.
Segment 5, the destination. If we fast forward a bit, what does an intelligent strategy function actually look like in a company? Dr. Zhou, paint it for us.
To me, it's defined by one thing: AI-powered intelligence paired with human-owned judgment. It's comprehensively informed. Teams operate with a much clearer, more current view of the landscape. It's broadly explored. You consider more options and more futures than the leadership team could invent on its own. It's rigorously analyzed. Assumptions get tested, implications get modeled, and robustness becomes a standard measure, not an afterthought. It's continuously aware. Strategy stops being only an annual planning cycle and becomes more dynamic as the environment changes. And crucially, it remains humanly decided. The most important part of strategy, what we choose to do and why, stays with accountable people.
Kwame, what's the technical foundation under that vision? If an executive says, "Build me the intelligent strategy function," what has to exist?
You need an integrated set of layers, not a single tool. First, information integration, internal and external sources brought together in a usable way. Second, a synthesis layer that can read across those sources and create coherent views of markets and competitors. Third, an exploration layer for scenario and option generation, expanding the search space. Fourth, an analysis layer that can model implications and test robustness carefully, with validation. Fifth, and most important, the human judgment interface. The way insights are presented matters. You want tools that keep humans thinking, questioning, challenging, not just accepting. And sixth, a reliability and verification layer. Provenance, source scoring, checks against misinformation. Without that, you've built a high-speed rumor amplifier.
Maria, what governance keeps that system healthy over time? Not just on launch day.
3 things: reliability, interpretation discipline, and protecting human judgment. Reliability governance keeps sources trustworthy, claims verifiable, and the system resilient to misinformation. Interpretation governance helps ensure assumptions are explicit, alternative explanations are considered, and outputs aren't treated as unquestionable truth. Then judgment preservation governance. You design processes so AI informs but doesn't quietly become the decision maker by default. Humans stay responsible. You also need legitimacy governance to make sure intelligence gathering remains within ethical and legal bounds, and accountability governance so no one can hide behind "the model said so."
Jonas, bring us home on the core question: what is it, specifically, that remains irreducibly human in strategy?
Values and identity. Strategy expresses what the organization stands for and what it wants to become. That what game do we want to play? Question isn't solved by more data. Judgment under deep uncertainty is another. At some point, you cannot learn your way to certainty. You still have to choose and commit. There's moral weight. Strategic choices affect people. Employees, customers, communities. The responsibility for those consequences has to sit with humans. Meaning and purpose, too. AI can serve a mission, but it can't define one. Humans decide what matters. And finally, wisdom. Wisdom isn't just analysis. It's knowing what counts, balancing competing goods, and choosing under uncertainty in a way you can stand behind. So in a strange way, the intelligent strategy function doesn't shrink the strategist. It elevates them. If AI handles more of the reading and synthesizing, humans can focus more on purpose, judgment, and accountability.
Segment 6, Tactical Edge. Real actions leaders can take this week. Dr. Zhou, you're up.
Audit your competitive intelligence. Ask yourself, do we have a current, comprehensive view of the landscape, or do we operate from occasional snapshots? If it's the snapshot model, AI-powered synthesis is often the highest return first move in strategic AI.
Maria.
Look hard at source reliability. Ask, do we separate authoritative sources from speculation, and do we have defenses against competitor misinformation? If you don't have reliability governance, your strategic AI can push you toward confident decisions based on shaky ground.
Jonas.
Make the boundary explicit between AI input and human judgment. Ask, where does the system inform and where do humans decide? If you can't clearly answer that, there's a risk you're delegating judgment without realizing it.
Kwame, close us out.
Pick one strategic question that's too big for a human team to synthesize quickly, something like the market entry question from the beginning. Use AI to synthesize the landscape, then evaluate it critically. What did it reveal, what did it miss, and what needed validation? That exercise makes the value and limits real in your context.
Let me pull the threads together. AI reshapes strategy through comprehension, exploration, and analysis. It reads more of the landscape than humans can, it expands the set of futures and options we consider, and it helps us test assumptions more rigorously. But none of that is the same as strategy itself. The strategic choice, the commitment under uncertainty, the value trade-offs, the identity question, stays human. Strategic AI is especially good at synthesis and handling unstructured information, which is why competitive intelligence is changing fast. Competitive intelligence is moving from periodic snapshots to continuous awareness. At the same time, the dangers are real: misinformation poisoning, analysis paralysis, strategies converging into sameness, and leaders becoming reactive instead of intentional. Scenario planning gets stronger too: more scenarios, clearer drivers, stronger stress tests, better leading indicators. But it still isn't prediction. Deep uncertainty doesn't go away. And the unprecedented can still blindside you. So the intelligent strategy function is a specific pairing: AI-powered intelligence with human-owned judgment. Better visibility, broader exploration, deeper analysis, continuous monitoring, and then humans making the call. Back to that line from the beginning, AI can give you a clearer view of the board. But it can't tell you what game you should play. That remains the job of leaders, because it's about values, purpose, and responsibility, not just information. Dr. Lien Zhou, Maria Alvarez, Jonas Richter, Kwame Mensah, thank you for bringing substance to a topic that's easy to hype and hard to do well.
Thanks, Nakel.
Really enjoyed it.
Important conversation.
Always a pleasure.
Next week on The Intelligence Edge, we wrap this domain series with a shift to the customer side: AI for customer intelligence, the intelligent CMO. We'll talk personalization, engagement, and the ethics of knowing customers deeply. Until then, I'm Nakel Nikima. Make better decisions.